Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Amazing day today. We're gonna be sharing the launch of the brand new Basso Sempre Veloce. And while I do not have my grubby hands on one of the models, it's incoming, but I've got enough information to share with you about the model. And I have an interesting perspective in that over the last year, I have had an opportunity to ride several of Basso's bikes in different categories. So I'll be able to share my thoughts on that and what I think that they're seeking to accomplish with this bike. And the whole idea about this bike, the timing of it literally couldn't be any better because it's come at a time when I've been considering a lot about the industry and the direction of the industry and the manufacture of bikes and what it really means to build a performance bikes. We see more and more manufacturers taking their performance bikes and working as hard as they possibly can to be able to increase the tire clearance to get tires of higher volume, 30, 32, 35, even 40 in there. And the question that I have is that I feel like there's only so far that can be taken before you have to start really fiddling with the geometry of the bike. And if you fiddle too much with the geometry of the bike, you're going to change the way how road bikes ride. Now, don't get me wrong. I think there's a lot of room for improvement in terms of the manufacturer of bikes because road bikes have kind of like gotten skewed more and more towards being able to be appropriate for world tour athletes as opposed to us cycling enthusiasts. And that's why you have more and more people looking at gravel bikes, endurance type bikes and stuff like that and wondering how can they marry that type of bike with their need to have a performance bike. The other aspect of that is that over the last few weeks, I had been working with a brand new cyclist, Brenda. I've shared her story on the channel. And one of the questions that I always get asked is, what type of bike should a brand new person ride? And having an opportunity to counsel with Brenda and help coach her through the early process of her becoming a road cyclist, it made me go back and reevaluate certain things in terms of positioning on the bike, basic fit aspects, where you place your hands, all that kind of stuff that we know that we do naturally, we just don't think about, but it's something that is foremost on the mind of brand new cyclists. So this bike and my introduction to the concept of the Sempre Veloce made me evaluate those things that I know versus the things that we're currently practicing. And it just made for a very interesting thought process for me. So one of the things that Basso Bikes did with this new model is they partnered with a bike fit studio in Italy to assess the needs of the common person to optimize performance and how we would use our bikes. The other thing that they did was they went and looked at ways that they could improve their current model line from aerodynamics, stiffness in all the right places, compliance in all the right places, and weight reduction in all the right places. And they came up with what looks like a winning formula on paper. The bike is beautiful. I'm going to share the paint schemes of the models that I have been exposed to. We're going to talk about the geometry chart. I'm also going to talk about some of the features of the bike that I think make it a winning bike, because those are the things that translate into not only good manners on the road, but a bike that is enjoyable and one that will allow you to optimize your performance on the bike to get the most out of it, not just in performance, but also in terms of enjoyment. All right, let's go. Frame weight is 780 grams for a size 53 unpainted and 370 grams for the fork. The new Fuga handlebar comes in at 300 grams, which is 30 grams savings over the Levita. The seat post from the Diamante weighs in at 180 grams. Bottom bracket stiffness is increased over the Diamante and the Diamante SV, as is the head tube stiffness, while the rear triangle compliance is less than on the Diamante. That should really be interesting in terms of ride feel. Now there's a very clear nod to aerodynamics with a very pronounced camtail design. I mean, it's a very sharp camtail design from what I can see from the pictures in the rendition over the Diamante SV. And they've also done a fair amount of reworking, like the lengthening and thinning of the fork legs as well as the stays. The top tube, their focus was to reduce the frontal area exposure to the wind. let's see how that actually makes the bike perform. It's going to be very interesting. The other thing is the compliance in terms of the tire clearance. It can fit up to 35 millimeter tires on rims with a 25 millimeter internal width. It's going to be very interesting to see how that causes a bike to perform. The reworking that I can tell of the geometry seems like they've really focused on changing more the stack and reach, kind of like raising the stack, shortening the reach a little bit, as opposed to really messing around too much with the angles. The seat tube and head tube angle in the sweet spot of frame sizes seems to be kind of normal from what I can see. Also the chainstay length is between 40.6 and 40.8. And the wheelbase is kind of like what I would consider to be road bike normal. Even the front to center, which is a measurement that I pay a lot of attention to, seems right in line with other bikes that I'd consider to be normal. So from what I can tell, the only real obvious change is what they've done in terms of the stack and reach, which when I was asked about configuring my bike, it made me take a serious look at sizing down from a 53 to a 51 and then going with a longer stem, because the 53 model has a 150 millimeter head tube length, which is just really not appropriate for me and my riding style. I like to be a little bit lower, a little bit more aggressive. I do have the flexibility to be able to accommodate that. So that's all I've got on the Basso Sempre Veloce. Hopefully the bike will be here in short order and I'll have an opportunity to bring it onto the channel, do my initial ride impression and take it out there and put it through its paces as I typically do. Let me know of the paint schemes, which one is your favorite? I like that blue into orange kind of fade. I also like the absolute black. I think that's a beauty. I think they're all really nice, but those are my two favorite. But let me know in the comment section below of the 4 paint schemes that I've shared, which one is your favorite. I'm genuinely excited about this project because this past year I've had an opportunity to ride the Pata as an off-road bike, the Venta R as an entry-level road bike, and the amount of time that I have spent on the Diamante integrating it into my lineup and being able to enjoy the quality of construction, the ride quality, general ride quality, the attention to detail of these bikes, the paint quality. It's just been an amazing experience. And my admonition is always, try something new other than just the bikes that you see populating our group rides or you walk into the typical bike shop. There's so many other things out there that'll give you as much, if not more, enjoyment in ownership and execution than the typical bike that we have a tendency to get kind of stared into or stuck with. So yeah. All right. Thank you once again for watching these videos, supporting the channel by your likes, your comments, your subscriptions, and sharing these videos with other like-minded people. As always, our aim here is to inform, instruct, inspire. Be blessed.